What's up everybody, Trip Smith here, and recently I did a video on how to sew your own hammock. And if you remember before that, I did a video, my 5 tips for sleeping better and being more comfortable in a hammock. I gave you that video as well. Well, my number 1 tip for sleeping better in a hammock was you need to put a ridgeline on your hammock. And I have a lot of people asking questions. How do you attach a ridgeline? What is the ridgeline for? Blah, blah, blah. So here we go. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what a ridgeline does, why you need one, and then quickly I'm going to show you how to attach one to your hammock. It's super simple, okay? And if you want to just skip all the of why you need one and what it does and just how to put it on there, skip to this time. Okay, let's get on with it. Over to the marker board. Never used the marker board really in my videos much, and I haven't practiced this, so let's see what I can do. Not much of an artist. Well, yeah, not much of an artist. Alright, so we've got 2 trees here, right? Okay, beautiful. Another beautiful tree. And we got the ground right there. Perfect, okay? Wow, I'm good. We have our hammock is going to be attached to the tree. Okay, and then alright, we got our suspension coming down to our hammock, and here is our hammock. Now this is what we want. This is kind of an ideal lay. You know, I probably should have drawn what we don't want first. That looks pretty darn good. Looks pretty good. I wonder if y'all can see that alright. I'm going to check that. Can you? No, not really. Okay, you guys can't really see it good, so I'm going to bring you in closer. You just can't see my pretty face. That's okay. It's okay. This is what's important. Alright, hold on. Scratch this. Scratch this. Let's do it the wrong way first. Let's show you what you don't want. Boy, that just gets really clean, doesn't it? This is what I see a lot of times. Where's my marker? People will just get their hammock just really tight across here. Kind of like this. This is their suspension. Then their hammock is pulled pretty tight within their suspension. So they're going to, you know, here you go, blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty tight. And now whenever you lay in here, the hammock's going to be really tight. What we want more sag in our hammock. Okay? So in order to do that, all right, we still have our suspension. It can be going at the same angle. Then we have our hammock. We want more sag like that. That looks a little better. That may be a little exaggerated, but that's okay. So how do we keep that sag, right? If you don't have an additional ridge line in between here, it's just going to pull tight like we had it. That's why we put a ridge line between the ends of our hammock, right? So that's going to always keep your hammock to be a good, nice, smiley face where you can be comfortable because you are now happy. Let's see here. Where's the tongue? Woo! Right? Because you're happy when you're like that. All right? And we don't want you to be laying in a straight hammock where you're not quite as happy, right? You know, that's kind of the sad face, you know, right? All right, so that's what we don't want. So in order to make your hammock happy and you happy in your hammock, you need the ridge line that's going to always keep the same amount of sag. The sag of your hammock is very important. Like I said, if you pull it tight, you're going to be really, really tight in your hammock. You can go out and try it. Just put your straps as tight as you can between your trees with no ridge line, you know, so your hammock is almost straight, and then go lay in that joker. All right, and then take it and loosen your straps a lot and loosen your suspension so your hammock has more of a droop to it and lay in it. You're going to be more comfortable when it has that sag. And also, there is an optimal sag for you, for your comfort level, for your body type, for your body weight, for your height, everything. So, with the ridge line, that allows you to find that sag, and you can keep that sag no matter how tight you have your hammock suspension, right? So let's say you have a really bad scenario, okay? And you hang your suspension straight, right? I don't know, you really shouldn't do that because your suspension, that puts a lot of stress on the trees and on your suspension. But let's just say that's that, all right? And of course, if you don't have a ridge line, your hammock's going to be straight just like that too. It's going to be like a tightrope getting up in it. But if you have a ridge line tied between your hammock will still have this nice sag that you want because you have this ridge line that controls just how far the ends of your hammock can stretch apart. That's really all the ridge line is doing. It just makes it where you can't just stretch your hammock super tight so it's not uncomfortable. Also, it will help you if you're on the other side of the extreme. And let's say, I really need a nice eraser, don't I? Alright, let's say you're on the other side of that extreme. You have your suspension tied really high, and you have your suspension drooping really low to your hammock, or your hammock is really, might be sagging too much, okay? Then your ridge line could be drooping as well. And that's how you know you have too much sag. So your ridge line can really tell you a lot whenever you're hanging your suspension. It can tell you if you have the optimal angles and everything. Whenever you lay in your hammock, you want your ridge line to be tight but not super tight. You don't want to be like a guitar string, boing, boing, boing. You know, you want to be able to kind of move it just a little bit. This is why a ridge line is important. Once you figure it out once, you're going to be good to go. You can leave it on your hammock. You don't have to touch it again. And it's pretty simple. All right, so now let's learn how to put one on your hammock. It's super, super simple, okay? And there's lots of ways to do it. Let's go. This is my lovely hammock and suspension. As you can see, I have a string across the top. This is the ridge line that I'm talking about. It's really easy to make one of these. All you do is you attach it to whatever type of suspension you have on like some sort of a slip knot is what I do over on this side, so that it just comes all the way down to where your suspension attaches to your hammock fabric, and the same thing on the other side. Just 2 knots, a string. It's really as simple as that. There's a lot of different ways you can attach it. A lot of different, you can make it adjustable, and you can use different pieces of hardware, different knots to make it adjustable until you find your most desired length, and then you can just tie it permanently and you're good to go. I have mine set up really, really simply. This is the same rope that I've used for a ridge line since I made my first hammock, which was 10 years ago or more. And basically on this end I just tied a bowline. Oh, and if you want to learn how to tie these knots, I have these in my 5 top knots that you need to know for a camping video. Check that out. There'll be a link to that below, along with the other videos that I mentioned earlier. But anyways, I just tied a bowline, which just makes a loop in the end, and then I just kind of just made a slip knot through that loop, right? Very, very simple, so that whenever I put it around my suspension over here, it just tightens down on it. And it's a type of slip knot, so once it gets tight, you know, it'll kind of stay tight, so when you take your hammock down, it doesn't come off and things like that. So that's on that side, and that one doesn't ever move again, okay? Then on the other side, you can tie whatever kind of knot you want, but what I've done, I did kind of like a trucker's hitch type knot, so I could adjust it easily when I was working on finding my optimal ridgeline length. And once I found it, I just left it. I could have changed it to another knot, but I just left it because you never know, I may want to play with it again. If someone says, hey, you know, why don't you try this, or I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy and don't want to change it. So you're saying to yourself, okay, Trip, so you taught me into putting a ridgeline on my hammock. So what length do I need to make it? Alright, well that's pretty easy. They say a general rule to stick with or to start with is you want your ridgeline length about 83% of that of your hammock length. So let's take my hammock for example. This is an 11-foot hammock, alright? So I'm going to say, alright, it's 11 foot, 11 times 12, because there's 12 inches in a foot, is 132, okay? 132, so what is 83% of 132? So 132 times 0.83 is 109.56, 110 inches. So that should be your ridgeline length, and that is from the point where your suspension attaches on each side, 110 inches if you have an 11-foot hammock. If you have a 12-foot hammock or a 10-foot hammock, it's going to be a little bit different. Then, once you get that first length, get in your hammock, lay in there for 15, 20 minutes or however long, and see how comfortable you are, and then shorten it up by 2 or 3 inches. And then get out and lengthen it, or elongate it. I don't know. Make it longer by another 3 or 4 inches from the original 83%, and see which one feels better to you. And, you know, you may not be able to tell much of a difference. That's okay. Just go out and just, I don't know, leave it at 83%. Or shorten it a dramatic amount, shorten it by 10 inches, and then elongate it by 10 inches, and see how that makes you feel. What kind of rope or string do you need to make your ridgeline out of? Something that doesn't stretch, just like all your lines should be, almost. Something that doesn't stretch. This is just some Dyneema. Gracious, did I really forget that? No, yeah, it is Dyneema. Or Zing It, or Lash It. Zing It, Lash It is the same thing. You can get that. I suggest go to Ripstop by the roll. Pick it up. You can buy it by the so many feet, but get plenty of it, because once you start working with this stuff, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be your new favorite rope. I carry this with me as my like emergency rope because it's real small, really light, and it comes in rolls, yellow and silver and maybe something else. This is sweet stuff. Love you. Sing it. Just feels so good to tie. That's what you need to make your ridgeline out of, though. So it's small, lightweight, doesn't stretch. You don't want it to stretch because you want it. You don't. You want it a certain length for a reason. You don't want to stretch. So paracord, I don't really like paracord. Although everyone's like, but you can do so many things with paracord. Great. One thing that you might want to do is you can get something like a figure 9. This is a large figure 9, but you can get a small figure 9, and it's basically makes a really easy slip knot or a really easy adjustable knot or knot replacement. You can put that on your ridgeline. You can adjust it so simply in seconds. A small night eyes figure 9. I have these on the tie outs of my tarp and stuff, and my gear hanger. Really, really sweet piece of equipment. So check those out. I'll put a link to those below too. I think everyone should just kind of have those along with them also, even if not for this. You just need to get some big ones, little ones. That and gear ties by Night Eyes. I love those two things. Where were we? I don't know. Put your ridgeline on, try different lengths, and see if you can get more comfortable in your hammock. Because, you know, this is really a simple thing to do, and it really can make a difference in how well you sleep in your hammock. And of course, I want you to get out there. That's my whole deal. And I want you to get out there comfortably and be more comfortable so you will get out there more often. Okay? So, hope you enjoyed this video. Put your ridgeline on your hammock. Get out there. Go hammocking. Go paddling. Go whatever. As long as you're out there. That's what matters. Alright, hey, big thanks to all the patron supporters who help support my channel, our channel. Just thank you so much for helping me to further inspire and teach and entertain you guys on how to get out there more often and to change your life. Right? We only have one life to live. Live it out there. Alright? Alright, folks. Take care of yourselves. Keep watching the videos. Stay locked in here to Trip Smith on YouTube. Because it's going to be fun. Man, it's always fun, right? I try to make this fun, even though I'm kind of silly and stupid and sometimes don't really know what I'm talking about. I kind of do. But try to make it enjoyable. So if this is your first video, got a lot of good adventures, a lot of good informational videos on how I can let you know, or you can learn just how easy it is for you to get out there. It's so simple. You can do it, you and your family. That's what it's all about. Alright, folks, take care of yourselves. God bless, and get out there. Oh yeah, shirts are coming up for sale. This is a blue one. Pretty sweet out there shirt, but should be a video coming really soon on the new shirts. The first run of shirts is going to be in this color print, but it's going to be available in a couple of different colored shirts. So this and like a little more tannish type shirt color. These are nice shirts, okay? I'm telling you, I love mine. You'll love yours too. And everyone else will. They'll say, where'd you get that shirt, man? I want one of those shirts. Oh, you gotta check out this guy on YouTube. He's a crazy guy. But he makes fun videos. Alright. Take care. Thanks for spreading the word, folks.